There is a reason some people stay trapped in the same cycle for years, while others slowly build power, peace, influence, and wealth. It is not luck. It is not motivation. And most of the time, it is not talent. It is discipline, but not the loud kind. Not the fake rise and grind discipline people post online. The real kind. The silent discipline that changes a human being from the inside out. The ancient Stoics understood this thousands of years ago. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." And that single idea explains why some people become wealthy while others remain controlled by emotion, distraction, and impulse. Because wealth is not created first in the wallet. It is created in the mind. In this video, we are going to explore how discipline creates wealth, the Stoic way, not through hype, not through shortcuts, but through self-control, patience, consistency, and mastery over desire. By the end of this video, you will understand why discipline matters more than motivation, why emotional control affects money, why most people sabotage their future, how the Stoics approached work, habits, and success, and how disciplined people quietly build wealth while others chase comfort. Let's begin. Part 1. Most people want wealth without discipline. Everyone wants money. Everyone wants freedom. Everyone wants the good life. But very few people are willing to become the kind of person capable of handling wealth. That is the problem. People love results, but they hate process. They want a successful business, a strong body, financial freedom, respect, confidence. But they avoid repetition, sacrifice, patience, boredom, delayed gratification. And this is where discipline separates people. Because discipline means doing what must be done, even when emotions disagree. The Stoics believed that a weak mind creates a weak life. Epictetus taught that if a person cannot control themselves, they become a slave. Not necessarily a slave to another person, but a slave to comfort, laziness, pleasure, fear, distraction, impulse Z. Look around today. People destroy their future for temporary comfort every single day. They overspend to impress strangers. They procrastinate instead of building skills. They waste years scrolling endlessly. They quit when things become difficult. Then they wonder why wealth never arrives. The Stoics would say this clearly. A person without discipline cannot keep wealth, even if they acquire it. Because wealth is not just about making money. It is about becoming stable enough to manage opportunities wisely. Discipline creates that stability. Part 2. Stoic discipline is different. Modern culture treats discipline like punishment. The Stoics treated it like freedom. That changes everything. Most people think discipline means suffering endlessly. But Stoic discipline is actually about removing chaos from your life. Think about it. When you cannot control spending, money controls you. When you cannot control emotions, other people control you. When you cannot control attention, distractions control you. When you cannot control desires, pleasure controls you. Discipline is not prison. Discipline is liberation. Seneca believed that the person who needs the least is the hardest to control. Why? Because discipline reduces dependency, and dependency destroys freedom. This is why wealthy, disciplined people often appear calm. They are not reacting emotionally to everything. They think long-term. They delay gratification. They understand that temporary sacrifice creates future power. Meanwhile, undisciplined people chase instant pleasure, nursed money, validation, variety, luxury before stability, entertainment before responsibility, and slowly they weaken themselves. The Stoic way is different. The Stoics train themselves to tolerate discomfort voluntarily, not because suffering is good, but because comfort addiction is dangerous. A disciplined person can survive hard seasons. An undisciplined person collapses under pressure, and wealth always flows toward stability. Part 3. Discipline builds trust. One reason disciplined people create wealth is because discipline builds trust. Think carefully about this. Who gets opportunities? Usually the reliable person, the consistent person, the person who shows up repeatedly, not the most emotional person, not the loudest person, the disciplined person. Employers trust disciplined workers. Clients trust disciplined businesses. Audiences trust disciplined creators. Teams trust disciplined leaders, and trust creates money. Imagine two people. One is talented but inconsistent. The other is average but disciplined. The disciplined person usually wins long term. Why? Because consistency compounds. One disciplined hour every day becomes no skill, a business, a network, a reputation, a career, a fortune. The Stoics understood the power of repetition. They knew character is built daily, not instantly. This is why discipline becomes a competitive advantage in a distracted world. Most people cannot stay focused long enough to master anything. But disciplined people keep going while others stop. And eventually the gap becomes enormous. Part 4. Emotional discipline creates financial discipline. This is one of the most important lessons in life. Money problems are often emotional problems first. People buy emotionally. They invest emotionally. They quit emotionally. They panic emotionally. The Stoics believed emotions should be observed, not obeyed blindly. That is powerful. Because wealth requires calm decision-making. A disciplined person does not spend to impress, panic during setbacks, chase every trend, make desperate decisions, or gamble emotionally. Instead, they think rationally, slowly, strategically. That is Stoic power. Imagine someone receives money. An undisciplined person immediately increases lifestyle, expensive clothes, expensive parties, expensive habits, expensive validation. But a disciplined person thinks, how can this money create more freedom later? That single mindset changes destiny. Discipline allows wealth to grow quietly, without emotional leaks. And emotional leaks destroy more wealth than lack of opportunity ever will. Part 5. The power of delayed gratification. Most people trade their future for the present. The disciplined person does the opposite. This is delayed gratification, the ability to sacrifice something small now for something greater later. The Stoics practiced this constantly. They trained patience intentionally because they knew impulsive people become controlled people. Look at wealthy individuals who built lasting success. Many spent years learning quietly, working quietly, saving quietly, improving quietly, while others laughed at them. But discipline compounds invisibly before results appear visibly. That is why many people quit too early. They cannot tolerate the invisible phase. The gym teaches this. Business teaches this. Investing teaches this. Content creation teaches this. You work without immediate rewards. And discipline keeps you moving before success becomes visible. Most people stop because they only trust what they can see immediately. Stoics trusted process. That is why they became mentally powerful. Part 6. Comfort is expensive. One of the greatest enemies of wealth is comfort addiction. Modern society sells comfort constantly. Easy entertainment, easy distraction, easy pleasure. But easy habits create difficult lives. Stoicism teaches voluntary discomfort, not extreme suffering, but controlled discomfort that strengthens the mind. For example, waking up early consistently, training when tired, saving instead of overspending, learning instead of wasting time. Machalthem, working while others procrastinate. These small acts build internal power, and internal power creates external results. Comfort feels good temporarily, but long-term comfort addiction creates weakness. Weakness destroys discipline, and without discipline, wealth disappears. This is why many people earn money, but still remain financially trapped. Because income without discipline becomes self-destruction. The Stoics would say, master yourself first. Money amplifies character. If discipline is absent, more money often creates bigger problems. Part 7. Discipline creates opportunities. People often think opportunities are random. Not always. Discipline attracts opportunities. Why? Because disciplined people become prepared, and preparation changes everything. Imagine two people receive the same opportunity. One is disciplined, unskilled, organized, consistent, often calm under pressure. The other is lazy and distracted. Who succeeds? Preparation allows disciplined people to capitalize on moments others waste, and life rewards readiness. Marcus Aurelius believed that obstacles could become advantages. But only disciplined minds can turn difficulty into growth. Most people complain during hard times. Disciplined people adapt. That difference creates wealth over time, because every setback becomes training instead of defeat. Part 8. The Stoic View of Status. Many people chase the appearance of wealth instead of actual wealth. This is dangerous. Stoics warned against obsession with status. Why? Because status chasing destroys discipline. People spend money they do not have to impress people they do not even like. And social comparison becomes financial poison. The Stoics focused on internal value, not external applause. A disciplined person asks, am I improving? Am I becoming stronger? Am I building something meaningful? Am I controlling my impulses? Meanwhile, society asks, what car do you drive? What brand do you wear? How luxurious do you appear? One path creates wealth. The other often creates debt and anxiety. Real wealth is not loud. Real wealth is stability, peace, freedom, control over time. And discipline is what builds that quietly. Part 9. Daily Stoic Habits that Build Wealth. Let's make this practical. What habits create wealth the Stoic way? 1. Control your mornings. Do not begin the day with chaos. A disciplined morning creates a disciplined mind. Wake up intentionally. Think clearly before the world floods your attention. 2. Track your spending. Stoics believed awareness creates control. Most people avoid looking at finances because emotions control them. Face reality calmly. 3. Learn continuously. Skills create value, and value creates income. Spend time improving your abilities daily. Even 1 hour consistently changes lives. 4. Practice restraint. Not every desire deserves action. Learn to pause before spending, reacting, or quitting. That pause creates power. 5. Stay consistent when motivation disappears. This is the true test. Anyone can work when inspired. Discipline means continuing anyway. That is where transformation happens. Part 10. Why discipline beats talent. Talent is overrated without discipline. A talented, undisciplined person often wastes potential. A disciplined average person can become extraordinary over time, because discipline multiplies effort, and effort repeated daily becomes mastery. The Stoics respected action more than potential. Potential means nothing without execution. There are people with brilliant ideas living average lives, and there are disciplined people building empires quietly through consistency. Do not underestimate consistency. Small disciplined actions repeated for years become massive advantages. A few extra hours daily, a few better decisions, a few controlled emotions. That is how wealth is built. Not overnight, but gradually. Part 11. The Discipline of Silence. One Stoic trait wealthy people often share is silence, not weakness. Control. Undisciplined people react to everything. Disciplined people conserve energy. They focus instead of constantly proving themselves. Silence helps discipline because it reduces distraction. It allows observation, patience, strategic thinking. Many people announce goals constantly, but Stoics preferred action over noise. Quiet work, quiet growth, quiet progress, and eventually, undeniable results. The world respects results more than announcements. Part 12. Wealth is a side effect. This may surprise some people. The Stoics did not worship money. They valued virtue first. Wisdom, discipline, courage, self-control. But interestingly, these same qualities often create wealth naturally, because disciplined people make better decisions. Medestel build stronger reputation, handle pressure better, stay focused longer, recover from setbacks faster. So wealth becomes a side effect of internal mastery, not the main obsession. That is why many disciplined people remain calm even during hard seasons, because they know their greatest asset is not money. It is character, and character cannot be stolen easily. Conclusion. In the end, discipline creates wealth because discipline creates stability. It creates focus in a distracted world, patience in an impulsive world, calmness in an emotional world, and consistency in a world addicted to shortcuts. The Stoics understood something most people never learn. Your external life reflects your internal control. If you cannot control yourself, you will struggle to control money, opportunities, or success. But if you master yourself, if you learn patience, restraint, focus, consistency, then slowly, quietly, power begins to grow, not overnight, but steadily. And one day people will call you lucky, without seeing the years of disciplined choices behind your success. So remember this: wealth is not built in dramatic moments. It is built in daily decisions. The decision to keep going, the decision to stay focused, the decision to resist distraction, the decision to think long term. That is the Stoic way. And in a world full of noise, discipline becomes a superpower.